To the Daily Space Weather. I'm your host Dan, aka smAsho. We've got some sunspots. It's a beta class sunspot group that's located down here in the southeast. Coronal holes also, and you can see some leading that group. Some ejecta, which looks like it has landed back on the chromosphere. And we'll show you some close-ups of that momentarily. This is the 193 angstroms view. And we wanted to show you the some multiple day SOHO-LASCO coronagraphs. You can see some ejecta coming out of the western limb of the sun here. Here you can see that small coronal mass ejection, which we kind of noticed. There was some missing data on it and stuff. It's not particularly Earth-facing. There could be a small Earth-facing component, though, as we do see some ejecta around this area as well. See a little bit of apparent ejecta there. It's nothing to really worry about, but we try to report all of it. So there you can see on the 10th and 11th, when this repeats. And right there you can see some ejecta coming out, sort of going southwest. And you can see Mercury coming into frame as well. Here's the field situation, and yeah, it is actually a beta class sunspot. We've got 3 umbrae at least associated with sunspot 2771, and there are opposite polarities in there. Let's take a look at some movies here, and that's sunspot 2771. Next, we'll take a look at that in 304 angstroms, which is ionized helium UV emission spectra. And you can see a bunch of plasma associated with the area, the plage behind sunspot 2771. Still don't see any umbrae associated with that, but there's a great view of its last 24 hours of activity. We saw some more B-class solar flaring as well. Here's 171 angstroms, my personal favorite wavelength, at least in terms of SDO wavelengths. And we'll let that play for you one more time. A lot of interesting stuff to talk about today in today's Smash Lights section. The 10.7 centimeter radio flux, before we get to that, is at 73. The KP index is at 1. And there you can see we did see a couple more B-class flares yesterday. Looks like 3 of them. 3 of them happened yesterday. And since then, the X-ray flux has returned to a more baseline level. We don't see any large proton events here, no surprises there. Power outages have been reduced a little bit, and over approximately 7 million tracked customers, we've got about 390,000 without power in Iowa and Illinois. Next, looking at the real-time solar wind here, we've seen the scale expand on the solar wind density. We go all the way down from 1 to 100 now. Current solar wind density, 6.46 protons per cubic centimeter. Solar wind speed, shockingly low, 280 kilometers per second. Very, very low solar wind speed. And next we're going to look at Geospace Magnetosphere movies, and here is the density looking a lot more normal than it did yesterday. If you want to see this looking highly anomalous, check out yesterday's daily space weather video. We covered some very anomalous density magnetosphere data. And this is looking quite a bit more normal here. Low density shown in white, high density shown in dark blue. And the scale does only go from 0 to 4 protons per cubic centimeter. So when the density gets higher than that, it shows it just as pinned back density. And it's looking pretty steady and normal there, consistent with the solar wind data today. Here's the pressure, and it's a bit on the low side here. No surprises there, as we have a less than 300 kilometer per second solar wind speed. We do have multiple plasma spheres here. So you can see on the meridional plane view, this plasma sphere, as well as this one and this one, an indication that there are multiple Van Allen belts. And we see a small reduction in electron flux. But there are still quite a lot of electrons out there, especially compared to where they were about a month ago. Next, ground geospace magnetic perturbations, getting a little closer to home for all you Earthlings. So here's 4 hours of data on that. During this magnetic excursion, as the South Pole has left Antarctica, headed into the southern Indian Ocean, and the North Pole has split into two. We've got one over northern Canada and one over Siberia. If you weren't aware, the net North Pole, geomagnetically speaking, is somewhere east of Greenland. And the magnetic South Pole is somewhere south of Australia in the Indian Ocean, off of the Antarctican continent. There's your 4 hours of data. There's your GOES magnetometer data. That's 3 days worth. And we are solidly in the North Pole current sheet still, and I expect us to remain there for the foreseeable future. This is the top view ecliptic plane field plot. Keep in mind the data is 1 hour and 52 minutes old. Next, looking at the line of sight field plot, nothing to write home about there. The B field shown in blue, not experiencing major perturbations despite quite a few sunspots. So 2770, which is this one up here, has, I believe, now decayed to a plage. We've got a new sunspot in the southeast, sunspot 2771, and it is beta class. And welcome to another Smash Lights segment, where I talk about literally anything. So tell your friends, tell your foes, tell your science and social commentary noobs, and your science and social commentary pros. As there's always lots of stuff to cover. Well, not always, but sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. Today, there's quite a bit. Happy birthday to the PC. So for all of you old enough to remember, back in the day, when there were many different choices, you could get an Amiga. There were all sort of different computer infrastructures, and what happened was that IBM sort of took over the market, creating a niche for AMD and Intel, who demanded, actually IBM demanded, a guaranteed second source manufacturer for Intel CPUs, the 8086 architecture. Right? So back then, soon after this, you could only get a PC or a Mac. And machines like the Commodore 64, Atari ST, and Amiga 500 were sort of pushed out of the market by what we used to call IBM compatibles back in the day. Today, the 39th anniversary of the IBM PC, which is a mixed bag in terms of innovation in the personal computing marketplace. If you want to read about it, it's at extremetech.com. Now, we are streaming live to Twitch. It's twitch.tv/smashomash. We are also on YouTube. Please take a moment to press like and subscribe if you're viewing there. And also share the content. We are also on BitChute. It's bitchute.com/smashomash. Thanks to all of our new subscribers over there. And most of all, thanks to our patrons. Our patrons are the real source of funding for the content, folks. And thanks to our latest patrons, we've picked up, I think, 2 this month. Thanks very much for signing up. We've got 9 tiers over there for your convenience. If you want to pay us a couple bucks per month, it's greatly appreciated. And again, it's the true source of funding, as YouTube strives to pay us absolutely nothing for the video. So consider becoming a Patreon and increase the probability that these videos will remain free and publicly visible. Congrats on surviving Smash or Price, my first pandemic. We're also on Subscribestar. So visit the other links below the videos, and let's talk about the Perseids. We've got lots of eyewitness reports of seeing Perseids. And the Perseus constellation is sort of next to Cassiopeia. Here's an article on SciTech Daily about how to view the Perseids. Check out scitechdaily.com if you'd like to read about it. And if you're up before dawn, perhaps you can see some. The best time is to view them right around now, between 2 a.m. local time and dawn. But anytime after 9, you may be able to see them radiating from the constellation Perseus. Now, I like to use in-the-sky.org for my star charts, but here's a pro tip. Remember to let your eyes become adjusted to the dark. It takes about 30 minutes. You'll see more meteors that way. Try to stay off your phone, as that will contract your pupils. So yeah, check out the Perseids if you haven't. Perhaps you can get some time-lapse photography. Set your phone up on a tripod and set it up for a long aperture time. And perhaps you can get some lovely images like this. Although don't stand next to somebody in this position for hours, as it could be uncomfortable. We've seen an ultra-luminous X-ray source, an NGC 5055. And the amount of energy emitted by this X-ray source is just shocking. Ultra-luminous X-ray sources are sources in the sky that emit more radiation than 1 million suns emit at all wavelengths, and they're emitting it only in a few X-ray wavelengths. 23 duodecillion ergs per second. That's a lot. And it's probably because there's a poloidal field pointed at the observer when looking at NGC 55X1. So Chandra is looking at it under X-ray, and we're hoping that they do some radio astronomy studies of this as well, as it is another interesting object, NGC 55X1. Now we've got an article about how researchers discover honeybees have more than one way to feed on nectar. Who would have known? I didn't even click on this article, and I have no idea where it came from. But cheers. It's another phys.org article. Thousands of bristles become erect, creating an ideal environment for trapping nectar. In other words, they've got hair on their proboscis or their tongue or something like that. Again, I don't even know how the article got there, but it's there. How about some electric fish? Where did these articles come from? All right, and let's talk about the National Association of Insurance Commissioners. If you know a crooked insurance agent or somebody who's affecting you with insurance fraud, perhaps contact the National Association of Insurance Commissioners. Now, I used to be licensed in 49 states to sell insurance, and I know a lot about the health and accident and life insurance marketplaces. If you've got any questions about that sort of stuff, feel free to drop me a line. Or, if there's some kind of malfeasance happening, feel free to drop the National Association of Insurance Commissioners a line so they can handle the problem, as we don't want to see insurance rates rise because of things like fraud, and there's a lot of fraud when it comes to the insurance. Let's talk about the fraud of Lehigh County. Oh yes. If you are having problems, legal problems, contact your local bar association. Now, for me, I'm currently being harassed by both the local municipality who I will allow to remain unmentioned for today, as well as now Lehigh County, because I've lost an appeal about the same thing, and the pathetic, incoherent, unprofessional local code enforcement agency, the municipality, has fined me again for a matter that's not even resolved at the county level. So now we're very much considering a state level appeal on my county level appeal, and we would love to see this go all the way to the state Supreme Court, assuming that we hold politicians responsible. So make sure you hold politicians responsible, increase the probability that they'll get audited and have their corruption exposed. So the next level would be the Philadelphia Bar Association. And then, of course, the Pennsylvania State Bar Association. And then, of course, the National Bar Association. So if you have to continue appealing and appealing to get justice, please do so. Because there is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse out there. Are you considering suing your governor? Are you considering suing your county commissioners, or your local board of directors, or your local code enforcement office, or your employer, or everybody under the sun because of their pathetic response to things like COVID? Well, I certainly am. Perhaps consider contacting the American Bar Association. They can even hook you up with free legal representation. Let's talk about costly legal representation. It's the Biden-Harris 2020, otherwise known as the Covidiocy ticket. Congratulations on choosing a woman of color, and I've heard her referred to as not only black but also Indian and also Asian. So we're not sure what the race is. Maybe she just checks all the boxes. If Kamala comes out of the Harris, if Kamala comes out of the closet as a lesbian, she'll be checking even more boxes. So we're wishing you luck, Joe. And I guess nobody told Joe to not wear black with navy blue. Maybe Joe's been dressed by his wife. We're not exactly sure. She could be just out of frame of this photo holding his hand. Let's talk about the peak of Covidiocy. Wisconsin is raising the bar, not the legal bar, the bar of idiocy. One of the most Covidiotic things I've seen, Wisconsin government agency mandates face mask use for virtual Zoom meetings. So I guess this woman here with the pink hair and the cat on her lap has gotten in trouble by going to a Zoom meeting without wearing a mask. What the fuck are you talking about, Wisconsin? You are some complete Covidiots up there. Congratulations. Preston Cole of the DNR said in an email to employees, "Also wear your mask even if you are home to participate in a virtual meeting that involves being seen, such as on Zoom or another video conferencing platform. By non-DNR staff, set the safety example which shows you as a DNR public service employee care about the health and safety of others." Preston Cole, you are officially today's top Covidiot. What kind of oh my gosh, to suggest that you're a moron is an insult to stupid people. Preston Cole, today's featured Covidiot. Governor Tony Evers put a mask order in place effective August 1st that mandate masks to be worn whenever a person is in an enclosed place other than a private residence. In other words, if you enter a phone booth by yourself, you're supposed to wear a mask. Hey, Preston Cole, shut the fuck up, you goddamn moron. Yeah, wear a mask while you're on Zoom calls to symbolize how controlled you are by the government. What kind of an asshole moron retard would say such a thing? Preston Cole, you're mentally handicapped. In fact, let's do a search. My name's Preston Cole. I sort glass. Brown goes here, clear goes here, green goes there. Don't throw us away. He's an American conservationist and politician who was the Wisconsin Secretary of Natural Resources in the cabinet of Governor Tony Evers. Wow. Congratulations, Preston Cole. You are a moron. Now, this is part of the smashamash.com/forum. We've updated the General Science Forum thread, hashtag Covidiots. And if you'd like to download the Biden-Harris 2020, the Covidiocy ticket meme, which is fresh off the press this morning, head to smashamash.com/forum. Check out the General Science Forum, where we're studying Covidiots, such as these two Covidiots here, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They're signaling their virtue because they're very concerned about your health, so they've put on an utterly ineffective mask and look like complete goddamn morons in public because they want to convince you that they're concerned about your health. What a fucking joke. And you know what else is a fucking joke? That right there. Are you kidding me? That thing is cheap. It's Chinese. It's made of plastic, I think. I'm pretty sure my body has already smacked it around. So let's do a for you again. What a joke. What a joke. Not even statistically relevant. It's about as deadly as the common cold. Let's talk about the way the media has completely jumped the shark and shown how utterly biased and crooked that it is. Oh no, accuracy of U.S. coronavirus data thrown into question as decline in testing skews drop in new cases. Now, they didn't report on this when the testing ramped up, but now that the testing's ramping down because COVID-19 is irrelevant, not viral, not novel in any way, and statistically a null point. Now that testing is dropping down because I'm not getting tested, it's totally irrelevant. Now, we started covering this at smashamash.com/forum back on January 23rd, where I said, to kick off the subject thread, which is now 31 pages long, coronavirus, are they dangerous? Not particularly for healthy people. Has anybody proven me wrong? Has Dr. Fauci shut his face? I think he might have. So congratulations on that. But anyway, now the media is going to report on the fact that testing has ramped down, and maybe that indicates a decline in cases. Congratulations, yellow dog journalists. You people are pathetic. Speaking of pathetic, it's CNN, the most busted name in news. I just like to open it up occasionally and read the headlines. No intelligent life here. The Communist News Network, or perhaps the Climate Nonsense Network. Do you follow us on Facebook? It's facebook.com/smashamash. If so, you may see brilliant posts like the post that we put up there. If you'd like to share a breaking news story or anything at all with us, feel free to send us a text or give us a call at the smAsho VOIP line. The number of the smAsho VOIP line is country code +1, area code 610-936-9799. That's country code +1, area code 610-936-9799. If you haven't checked out smashamash.org, go over there. We've got 2 Teespring storefronts, as well as our affiliate link and a link to the forum on the homepage, as well as links to all the social media. So shout out to Smash staff for setting that up so nicely. And suddenly I don't see the social media links there. What is up with that? So here are the 2 Teespring storefronts. If you'd like the shirt that I'm currently wearing, well, here it is. Smasher price my first pandemic. Pick up one of those. And pardon the delay on my showing off more different shirts, as I screwed up. Anyway, Smasher priced my first pandemic. You can get that one. Also, I survived a global pandemic so far, with the Grim Reaper motif in the background. Perhaps order yourself one of those, or the leggings, or the Mansa or Mensa shirt. By the way, making America or Earth not suck again is up to you. We've also got the Smash Team shirt. Thanks to everybody who's picked up merch. Or if you prefer the 3C405 shirt, we've now put that out as well. It's got the website link on there as well. And the affiliate link, it now contains smashed potatoes, shoe goo, magnesium, calcium, and zinc, almond flour, MSM, L-lysine, and the Zacurate Pro Series 500DL. Yes, it's true, folks. It's true. It's a pulse oximeter, not made in China. It's actually made in Texas. And I'm enjoying mine. It's only $29.95. Consider purchasing that through our affiliate link. We would greatly appreciate it. And it gives you interesting ability to do biofeedback. It monitors your pulse and your heart rate. It does come with batteries. And if you want to check out those Amazon links, they are available at smashomash.com/affiliate. And thanks for tuning in to another episode of Smashlights. And now it's time for me to vanish and move on to some more things. The electron flux has dropped down a little bit, and there you can see we didn't quite reach into warning levels yesterday. There's the 3-day graph. And here's the forecast. They're forecasting a spike and then a drop. And here's the total electron content forecast. This is the whole air column all the way from the thermosphere down, giving us an idea of where the electrons are located. They're usually located under the sun. And so if you see a GPS error, it's most likely to occur around the equator at noon. Next, looking at just one layer of the atmosphere, here's just the ionosphere, and it's looking quite normal. This is 6 hours of data. And that is every second, it's 15 minutes of data updated there, if you're wondering. This is available at the Australian Government Bureau of Meteorology site. Ionosphere looking quite normal today. There's the latest image at 8:15 Universal Time. Here's where stuff is in the solar system. There's where things will be in a week. And I'll be sleeping well around the new moon. I'm a reverse lycanthrope. So if you've heard of a werewolf, I'm a howlwolf. And looking at in-the-sky.org, if you're wondering where Perseus is, here it is. It's kind of in between Auriga and Andromeda, and sort of east of Cassiopeia, which is sort of an easy constellation to see up there. That's where those Perseid meteors should be emanating, although the moon will not be making things easier to see. It's a crescent moon. Largest quake of the past 24 was a 6.0 in the African Rift Zone in between Madagascar and Tanzania. Let's go up the list. And we'll show you where that was located real quick. There's a location of that. Part of that African Rift Zone, a very strange spot in the world there, is Tanzania splitting in half. That one just off the coast. And I don't see any tsunami references, but let's get up the list here and move on. Significant quake in Pakistan there. A deep quake strikes Japan at 23:23. The depth of nearly 400 kilometers and a 4.2 magnitude quake. We also see some interior quakes in northern Canada here. That's an odd spot for one. It's a 4.0 in the Northwest Territories. And let's move on to volcanoes here at volcanodiscovery.com. Nishinoshima, still on the list, still exploding. Flight level 110, 11,000 feet. Cinnabung, back on the list again. Flight level 120, 12,000 feet. Sangay is also exploding. 20,000 foot ash plume there. Revenador exploding. 15,000 foot ash plume there. Sabancaya exploding. 23,000 foot ash plume there. Please do not attempt to do a back handspring, or a front handspring, or a tightrope walk over the caldera. Here's the weather.gov map, and the mid-Atlantic and the upper southeast is got a bunch of flash flood watches in effect. And I just brought up the GFS model here on Tropical Tidbits. Here's where we expect things to be at 6 Universal Time on Tuesday. So some heavy rain expected in central Pennsylvania here. And it looks like we're going to have a rainy weekend, actually. And they're forecasting about 6 inches of rain there in south central PA. Again, that's the GFS forecast. Let's advance the GFS forecast in terms of pressure maps. This is windy.com's pressure maps. I like their mobile app as well. I was using it yesterday. And by the way, I used lightningmaps.org last night as we got some lightning. Here's where we expect things to be at noon tomorrow, my time. Windy.com. Good stuff. Next, looking at nullschool.net. Here are the jet streams of the eastern world. They're extreme meridional, especially in the northern hemisphere, where we have equatorial winds blowing east to west, which is the opposite way of the way they normally go. Here is the western world, and you see utterly incoherent jet streams, especially in the north, but also some oddities in the south. Here's a lightningmaps.org. I like to use it when I hear thunder. I didn't forecast any last night. It never got close enough. We've got some pretty concentrated stuff happening in Oklahoma. Hey, Broken Arrow. There's thunder rolling in. If you're in Stillwater, go outside and look to the east. It's a beast. And I've reappeared. Also, Wichita, Kansas. I think you're out of the crosshairs. Go outside and look to the east. You may see sprites. Here's a water vapor map for Europe and Africa. Water vapor map for the Far East and Oceania. How about a water vapor map for the Americas? Here's a U.S. Doppler radar map. Some heavy storms there in central Canada. And Kansas and Oklahoma, seeing some concentrated storms. Missouri and Arkansas, you're in the crosshairs for that. Here's what's going on in the cloud layer. We see some sudden cloud nucleation happening here over Oklahoma and Kansas. Let's zoom in on it. Using the NASA GOES Interactive Weather Satellite Suite, the shortwave radiation map. And there you can see that sudden cloud nucleation over northeastern Oklahoma. Here's a water vapor map, and we're going to show you that same area in water vapor. And we've got dry mass of air leading and trailing that system, but it's not going to stagnate too much as that air mass is indeed moving to the east. It should have a fairly predictable storm path today. And let's take one more view here. I want to see what's going on over my head. And we've got a stagnating system there. This band of dry mass of air is sort of holding things up and keeping it hot here in eastern Pennsylvania. And if you're wondering where I'm located, it's Lehigh Valley, which is right about here, practically in smelling distance of the putrid state of New Jersey. No, I don't mean because of the residents. I mean because of the government. And thanks, Smash Team, for tuning in. We've got bonus features. So we ask you to please keep your head and arms inside the Smash planes at all time. We thank you for flying American Smashways. We're going to show you a 48-hour video here from the SDO in 304 angstroms. We're also going to show you the colorized magnetogram. Here's the latest update. And we see 3 active regions down here. Actually, one very, very far south. Does not appear to be a sunspot yet. Some activity coming out of this plage here, and this here is a real sunspot. I believe we've got 3 umbrae, making it a beta-class sunspot as there are 2 polarities present. Here's the intensity gram, and let's take a look at 2771, and indeed, we see that it is a beta-class sunspot. No other sunspots on the solar disk right now. It's just 2771. And here's that 304 angstroms view. Again, welcome to the Neo-Renaissance, folks. Visit the links below the video, and please help support the channel. Increase the probability that these videos will continue to exist, as there are a lot of different forces trying to prevent me entropic forces trying to prevent me from making these videos, and we basically have zero help, which is why we need yours. So thanks for tuning in. Remember, stare at the sun, don't drink, and if you do, don't drive. No matter how much the government drives you to want to drink, don't drink and drive. It's bad times. And since it'll never be now again, may that solar wind be at your back, and that Covidiocy absent from your multiverse. Or universe, if you don't like multiverse theory. Maybe we'll cover it in a later cosmology segment.